Welcome to the Survey and Spatial New Zealand Get Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor Candidate Guide. I'm making this little video to take you through the candidate guide that we've just put together, and hopefully that will help you to navigate preparing to apply and actually applying. So I'm just scrolling through the document here. You can download it from the website, and I'm just going to talk you through it for those of you who would prefer to listen to this or fast forward through it. Hopefully this will be of some help. This is Jane Albiston talking. I'm the Professional Development Manager for Survey and Spatial, and I've prepared this candidate guide, so I look forward to your feedback. So welcome to our Get Certified Candidate Guide for applying to become a Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor. First of all, congratulations on setting a goal to become a Survey and Spatial New Zealand Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor. This guide is designed to inform you about the prerequisites for assessment, the details that you need in order to successfully navigate the application, and also the assessment process. And as always, our aim is to make every step of the way as user-friendly as possible. We invite you to give feedback. That would be great. So in case you don't know what the overall process looks like, here it is. The diagram shows you what the process of getting certified entails, and it starts obviously at the top with a person gaining work experience in engineering surveying along with qualifications that bring them to the level of competence required for getting certified. If you have a look at the competency document and you read through the competencies, that will give you a really good guide as to whether you feel that you're ready to apply or not. Have a really good read through them and be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I ready? Am I competent in these areas? Do I have the evidence that they say you need? Could I sit in front of an assessor panel and discuss all of these points and be confident? Or do I need to go and get some more experience? Do I perhaps need to work on some more projects? Do I need to ask my manager or my boss to give me some more experience in another area? So be honest with yourself. In general, we have found so far that it really takes about 5 years of work experience to get to the point of someone being really competent to apply. Having said that, maybe you can do it sooner, maybe it will take you more years. It really does depend on the role that you're in and what you're doing every day and the variety of jobs that you're working on. So here's how the candidates are assessed. The assessment has two parts. Part A, general professional competence, and Part B, technical competence. Both of them have their own sets of competencies. They're in the one competency doc that you can find on the website. The competencies are assessed in 4 different ways, as you can see in the diagram. The first 3 in blue are part of the online application, and the 4th in brown is scheduled for after the online application has been assessed. And here is what an overview of assessment for a Survey and Spatial New Zealand Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor looks like. Part A, general professional competence. Part B, technical competence. And the end result, hopefully, is Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor. Part A is the assessment of general professional competence, and it assesses competence in the following areas. As you can see, it's compulsory to be a Survey and Spatial member, so we do expect that you would be familiar with the conduct that is expected of members, the membership policy, the continuing professional development policy, and all of those policies are included on the application form, embedded in the application form itself, so you can review them. Along with that, there are 3 different subsections. As you can see there, professional conduct, communication skills, and good business practice, and you can find all the details of those in the competency doc. Part B, Technical Competence Engineering Surveying, is the assessment of technical competence in engineering surveying, and it assesses competence in the following areas: reality capture / survey measurement, set out, survey data management, and geodetic. So that's part B. Then we have the purpose statement. I won't read through it. You can read through it yourself. It's also contained in the competency document. Then we have the eligibility criteria guide. You can have a look through that. We're still working out where the eligibility really sits. We haven't really captured a large enough data set to be confident about that, but you can have a good look at it and see where you sit. And also when you go through the competency document, you can be honest with yourself about how confident you are in the competencies and whether you think you would be ready to apply. And if you've got any questions, you can always ask us. So before you start, there are some generic requirements for the application, and they are as follows. Everyone needs to have Survey and Spatial New Zealand membership. You need to be either an associate member or a full member. And as part of the application, we require you to upload a screenshot of your member profile showing that it is viewable by the public. So you must have your privacy settings set so that everyone can view your profile. When you log into your member profile and you click on privacy settings, you will see 3 settings. One is that no one can see your profile. Another is that only Survey and Spatial members can see your profile. And the third one is that everyone can see your profile. You need to have your profile set so that everyone can see it, because when you get certified, the members of the public need to be able to see it, local authorities need to be able to see it, and employers need to be able to see it. It is your proof to the public that you have current competency. You also need to have your member profile filled out with your profile photo. It's really important that you have your photo on there. We have already had a number of applicants who have the same name. So the only thing that really tells you apart often is your photo. So it's really important that you have your profile photo there, and also it's a really good look. It's a good professional look. You also need to upload an up-to-date CV as part of your application. If you don't have an up-to-date CV and you are a member of LinkedIn, you can actually go and click on your settings in LinkedIn and export your LinkedIn profile to a PDF, and it prints out pretty much like a CV, like a really nice CV. Please note, it is not compulsory to belong to LinkedIn. This is simply a piece of advice that makes creating a CV really simple if you already have a LinkedIn profile. You also need photo ID. It can be a driver's license or a passport, and you need to have taken a photo of that and upload the photo into your application when you apply. Also, if you are a licensed cadastral surveyor or you've ever been a licensed cadastral surveyor, we would like it if you could upload your most recent LCS. And I've put if applicable there because you do not have to be a licensed cadastral surveyor to apply to become a certified professional engineering surveyor. This is just simply if you are an LCS. And lastly, you need to belong to the engineering surveying stream. You can check which streams you belong to when you log into your member profile. If you don't belong to the engineering surveying stream, then you need to email admin@surveyspatialnz.org and simply request that they add you to the engineering surveying stream. Why do you need to belong to the engineering surveying stream? Because that is the professional home for certified professional engineering surveyors, so that makes sense. Here is a summary of competencies for Engineering Surveying Part A, General Professional Competence. It is divided into 3 sections: professional conduct, communication skills, and good business practice. This is a summary, but you can see the full details of this in the competency doc on the website. Here are some of the requirements and a bit of a guide for Engineering Surveying Part A, General Professional Competence. As you might have heard me say, each one of the competencies is assessed in 4 different ways. The first way is a written self-evaluation of competence. You are required to write 3 paragraphs for the 3 subsections: professional conduct, communication skills, best business practice. Each one of those paragraphs has to be between 400 and 600 words. And the idea is to outline why you believe you meet the competencies under those sections. This is intended as a self-reflection style of assessment, giving you the opportunity to write what really makes you stand out in terms of the values you incorporate into your work, your ethics, moral compass, and how that influences your engagement and communication with clients and in your general business practice. In the online application, I have set the word limit to 600, and I've also set it so that you can't write fewer than 400 words. So you don't need to count, there's an automatic word counter in there. However, we do have some guidelines on exactly how to do that, and I'll cover that in more detail further on. The second way that your competencies are assessed is you're required to give us evidence to support your self-evaluation. So you're required to provide specific examples of evidence from work situations and projects that prove you meet the standards required for the 3 subsections. Note that for Part A, this is mainly values-based as per the competencies under professional conduct, ability to communicate under communication skills, and under good business practice. It is based on proving your ability and experience in dealing with contracts, conditions of engagement, fees, conflicts of interest, including risk and liability. It is recommended also to note the foundational knowledge and understanding required and to include evidence of those points if you have it. Evidence can include, but it's not limited to, emails, communication with clients, peers, superiors and others, references, client feedback, and quality assurance documentation. If there's anything else that you can think of that you want to put in there, then you can. This is just to give you some ideas. And we don't want to be too prescriptive because everyone's situation is different. Thirdly, as part of the online application, you are required to provide third-party validation of competency. So this section requires written validation from 2 third parties of your ability to meet and commitment to uphold the general professional competencies, your employer or equivalent, and your choice of referee, such as local authority or council personnel who are familiar with your work or suitably qualified peers. At least one referee must be a member of Survey and Spatial New Zealand. Family members are not allowed to be referees. Upload 2 references that have been PDF'd and emailed to you when your referees filled in the Survey and Spatial New Zealand Part A General Professional Reference Forms online. So there is a separate link that will be on our website that you can send to referees. When they click on it, it opens up to a form that they fill in and they provide a reference for you. As soon as they click submit on their reference, you are automatically emailed a PDF copy of that reference. So actually you could collect as many references as you wanted and just select the best 2 if you wanted, or just collect 2. Whatever way you want to do it, you're only required to submit 2 in your actual application, but there is no limit to how many you want to collect if you want to give yourself a choice. And finally, there is an interactive assessment with an assessor panel. Just want to point out that there are 3 assessors involved in assessing your application. Assessor 1 and Assessor 2 assess your entire written application, and then they also attend the interactive assessment and are part of the assessor panel that speaks to you. Assessor 3 simply joins the assessment process as part of the assessor panel. They do have access to your application and they will have had a look through it, but they don't formally assess the written part. They simply assess the interactive assessment and are part of that assessor panel. It's really great having an assessor panel of 3 assessors because it gives you a really fair assessment and it also makes for a really great round table discussion. So the interactive assessment is a professional conversation where the assessors ask you to discuss your application and to address any gaps the assessors may have found. Ensure that you are prepared to discuss any of the points under foundational knowledge and understanding for each section in Part A, as the assessors can include these in the interactive assessment. The format is of a round table discussion rather than a traditional formal interview. You will receive separate notification of the day and time for your interactive assessment. It is usually held on Teams or Zoom, so you will receive an invitation to join that assessment in your calendar invites. Here are some tips for preparing to apply for certification. It's a checklist for Part A, professional conduct, communication skills, and best business practice. So the first thing to check off is that you have written 3 paragraphs. 1 for self-evaluation of professional conduct, 1 for communication skills, and 1 for best business practice. It's recommended that you write these in a Word document so that you can then copy and paste them into the online application form. Also, as I think we're all aware, sometimes our internet drops out and it means that sometimes things that you write into an online form can be lost or there's a greater risk of them being lost. So we strongly recommend that you write these in a Word document that you've saved first, just in case the online application drops or your internet drops or something like that. Secondly, you need to have checked that you've got 3 separate zip files of evidence. 1 to prove your ability to meet and commitment to uphold the professional conduct competencies, which are integrity and fidelity, objectivity and independence, competence, quality performance, professional behavior, continuing professional development. 1 for proof of communication skills, and 1 for proof for best business practice, which includes conditions of engagement, conflict of interest, and fees. Put all evidence into clearly labelled files to upload into the online application form. So if you have your paragraphs ready in your Word document to copy and paste, and you've got your zip files ready, you'll be all set to go. The next thing you need to have is, as I mentioned before, 2 references that have been PDF'd and emailed to you when your referees filled in the Survey and Spatial New Zealand Part A General Professional Reference Forms. And as I said before, you can get as many referees as you like to fill in the form and then select the 2 you want to upload as part of your application online. Lastly, for Part A, be prepared for the interactive assessment. Have your application printed out or on an additional screen in front of you. Be familiar with what you submitted and be prepared to talk through all your examples and elaborate on them if asked. Make sure you've read through and are prepared to talk about the points under foundational knowledge and understanding, as well as the points under the competency subsection. And if you're someone who's really nervous talking to people through a screen in an online meeting, or you tend to get nervous or clam up or not be able to communicate very well in a panel type setting, then it's a really great idea to get together with some peers or your manager or some mates or people from Survey and Spatial and have a little practice. Goodness, even practice in front of the mirror if that helps. If you know you're someone who's nervous in front of other people, because on the day, we really just want you to be relaxed and confident and really feel like you're able to talk to us and run through everything and really show us exactly how competent you are, how confident you are, and how committed you are to not only meet the competencies on the day, but to uphold and maintain them for the next 4 years. This certificate of competency lasts for 4 years. So now I just want to move on to Part B. This is a summary of the competencies for Engineering Surveying Part B, Technical Competence. Certified professional engineering surveyors must have a sound ability and solid foundational knowledge of the following, and this is a little summary. They're divided into 4 sections: reality capture, survey measurement, set out, survey data management, and geodetic. This is the summary, but you can find all the details on the competency document on the website. As a little bit of a guide and to run through the requirements for Part B, technical competence, as with Part A, the competencies are assessed in 4 different ways. The first one is a written self-evaluation of competence. So you are required to write 4 paragraphs for the 4 subsections: reality capture and survey measurement, set out, survey data management, and geodetic. And the same as Part A, each one has to be between 400 and 600 words. Remember, I've set the word limit, so you can't write fewer than 400 words and you can't write more than 600. The word count will tell you. And you have to outline why you believe you meet the competencies under those sections. This is intended as a self-reflection style of assessment, giving you the opportunity to write what really makes you stand out in terms of your technical knowledge, your understanding, ability, competence, and experience in all 4 areas. 1 paragraph for each. Secondly, you are assessed on your evidence to support your self-evaluation. So you are required to provide specific evidence for each section. These are detailed in the Part B checklists that I'm going to go over shortly. You must be prepared to talk through your evidence in the interactive assessment and demonstrate a comprehensive understanding of the evidence that you have provided. Thirdly, you are assessed on your third-party validation of competency. So just like Part A, this section requires written validation from referees, but this time from 3 third parties, of your ability to meet and commitment to maintain the technical competencies for engineering surveying. So, as an idea, choose from your employer or equivalent. That's a great one to start. And then a choice of 2 other referees. Examples might be local authority or council personnel, people who are familiar with your work, but they must be suitably qualified peers. So, people who are qualified to give a really good reference on your technical ability as an engineering surveyor. At least one of those referees must be a member of Survey and Spatial New Zealand. You're not allowed to get referees as family members. They're not allowed to be referees. And you have to upload the 3 references that have been PDF'd and emailed to you when your referees filled in the Survey and Spatial Part B Technical Competencies Engineering Surveying reference forms online. Again, you can collect more than 3 references and then just choose the 3 best. You're welcome to do that. So those 3 are what make up the online application. And the 4th part of your assessment, the 4th way in which we assess the competencies is through the interactive assessment with the assessment panel. We conduct one interactive assessment with the assessment panel. So the interactive assessment with the assessment panel covers both Part A and Part B. So for the Part B part of the interactive assessment, again, it's a professional conversation where the assessors ask you to discuss your application and to address any gaps that they may have found in your Part B technical competence engineering surveying. Ensure that you are prepared to discuss any of the points under foundational knowledge and understanding for each section in Part B. That's reality capture, set out, survey data management, geodetic, as the assessors can include these in the interactive assessment. The format, again, I just want to stress, it really is a roundtable discussion rather than a traditional formal interview, and you'll receive separate notification of the day and time for this after you have put in your online application. So I'm now going to run through some checklists that I've put together for each section of the competencies. The first one is reality capture / survey measurement. You're required to write 400 to 600 words in a paragraph, a self-evaluation of reality capture / survey measurement. That includes boundary location, which is cadastral surveying, topographic surveying, as-built surveying, and monitoring surveying. And as before, it is recommended that you write this in a Word document so you can copy and paste it into the online application form. So you want to have that paragraph on reality capture ready to go in your Word document before you apply. Then for the evidence, this is the evidence that you need to collect and put into a nice zip file all ready to upload into your online application. So for boundary location, we need you to supply us with one plan showing calculated cadastral boundaries for a site reproduced from existing cadastral survey data supported by calcs and checks. We also require one comprehensive topo that includes council asset records. We then need 3 as-builts. One as-built survey for drainage, one as-built survey for roading, one as-built survey for structural. And finally, one monitoring survey including results and reporting. It's a really good idea to put all your evidence in clearly labeled files, and then you can upload it into the online application form. So just so you know, there is a separate file upload for boundary location, another one for topo, another one for your as-built survey drainage, a separate one for your as-built survey roading, and another one for your as-built survey structural, and another one for your monitoring survey, including the results and reporting. So you're really looking at having boundary location, topo, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 separate files there ready to upload into the reality capture part of your online assessment. Now the checklist for set out. First of all, your paragraph. 400 to 600 word paragraph for self-evaluation of set out, which includes set out surveying. Oh, I've missed off the G there. Can you see? I'll have to fix that. Set out surveying and set out reporting. And again, it's recommended that you write this in a Word document so that you can copy and paste it into the online application form. Now for the evidence. For set out, we're asking for 2 examples of a set out plan, diagram, sketch, or graphic to show a combination of items set out on site. Now you know that we are assessing right across structural, drainage, roading. So we really want to see across those 2 examples evidence that you've set out all of those items. There are 2 boxes for uploading those 2 examples, so you can save them as 2 separate files. The third piece of evidence we want under set out is an example of a stakeout report of any set out you've undertaken. We just need one because a stakeout report is a stakeout report, right? Again, put all your evidence into clearly labelled files to upload into the online application form. So if you have a file that has set out plan example 1, it's one file, set out plan example 2, and then stakeout report. Something like that. Now for the checklist for survey data management. Again, 400 to 600 word paragraph for self-evaluation of survey data management. Under survey data management, we have production and management of digital files. Again, it's recommended that you write this in a Word document so that you can copy and paste it into the online application form. Now for the evidence that we're asking for under survey data management. 3 pieces of evidence. 2 CAD files, 1 CAD file for set out and 1 CAD file for as-built. So 3D client deliverable CAD file. Again, save them separately. So one file, you can save the CAD file for set out, another one for as-built because you're going to upload them into 2 separate boxes on the online application form. And the third piece of evidence is evidence for management of digital files. So we are suggesting that you take screenshots and write an explanation of the traceable management system you use that details revisions and shows how they are updated for use by the survey team. It's recommended that you do this as a Word document and then perhaps export it to PDF and then upload the PDF as your evidence. And again, put all evidence in clearly labelled files to upload into the online application form. And lastly, the checklist for geodetic. Firstly, 400 to 600 word paragraph for self-evaluation of geodetic. And under geodetic, if you look at the competency document, you'll see we have establishment of new control networks, least squares, establishment of new control networks, traverse, conversion between vertical datums. I need to take out conversion between horizontal datums, so just ignore that. It is just conversion between vertical datums and transformations of geodetic coordinates. It's recommended that you write this in a Word document so that you can copy and paste it into the online application form. And now you can see the evidence that we're asking for under geodetic. First of all, we're asking that you upload a least squares adjustment, including calc sheets and reporting, a traverse sheet and traverse report, an example of a conversion between vertical datums that you have done, include why you did the conversion and how you did it, and then finally an example of a transformation between geodetic coordinates that you have done. Include why you did the conversion and how you did it. There will be 4 different boxes for you to upload those files in, so don't save them all together in one big lump. Save them in 4 files and just label them least squares adjustment, traverse, vertical datums, geodetic coordinates or transformation, however you want to label them, and then just pop them up into the file uploads on the online application. I do want to point out, even though I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, that it's really important that when you provide this evidence, you're really familiar with it. So if you provide us with a least squares adjustment, including calc sheets and reporting, please be prepared to talk us through that. Please be prepared to tell us, for example, what the parameters were, why you adjusted things, why you made the decisions that you did, and really go into some depth so that we can understand the depth of your knowledge and the depth of your ability, and also your ability to carry out least squares adjustments, traverse, etc., really confidently. Sometimes we have noticed that candidates have not really thought through talking about what they put forward in their application. So it's important that if you did the least squares adjustment, or you did the traverse sheet and traverse report a while ago, that you re-familiarize yourselves with the piece of evidence that you're putting forward, and you're prepared to talk about it. And then finally, preparing to apply for certification checklist for Part B, third-party validation and interactive assessment. We are requiring 3 references that have been PDF'd and emailed to you when your referees filled in the Survey and Spatial Part B Engineering Surveying reference forms. Note again, as I've said before, you can get as many referees as you like to fill in the form, and then just choose the 3 you want to upload as part of your application online. And finally, your interactive assessment. Have your application printed out or on an additional screen in front of you. Be really familiar, as I've just been saying, with what you submitted, and be prepared to talk through all of your examples and elaborate on them if you're asked. And please make sure that you really have read through and are prepared to talk about the points under foundational knowledge and understanding, as well as the points under the competency subsections. If you have a look at all the competency subsections, all of them have a list of foundational knowledge and understanding that you are expected to have in order to apply for the certification. And it's really important that you familiarize yourself with those points and that you're prepared to talk about them if the assessors bring them up. Pay particular attention to competencies you're less familiar with, especially those under the geodetic section. If there is a section that seems to present the most challenges, it seems to be the geodetic section. So I can't stress enough how important it is to prepare for that really well. Make sure you can explain what, why, and how, and upskill if you need to in order to be well prepared. Run things past peers, practice with your manager, practice with other people. Just get really, really confident so that when you look through all of that foundational knowledge and understanding, all of those competency points, when you review the application that you've put in, review all your evidence, reread what you wrote in your self-evaluation, just be super, super, super familiar with it so that you're really confident and comfortable to chat about it. And some final advice. The Get Certified Engineering Surveying Competency document is your friend. Read it, study it, be super familiar with it, practice talking through it with a peer, be prepared to talk about anything and everything in it. And if you're a bit rusty or you need to upskill on any of the competencies, then do that before applying. Always get documents from the Survey and Spatial website. Someone might have downloaded something. If they send it to you, don't rely on that because the version may have been upgraded. The latest versions will always be uploaded under certification, Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor, and I think some of the documents will probably be available just in the member section after you have logged in. So always get documents from the Survey and Spatial website. Next, get involved in the engineering surveying stream. Email engineering@surveyspatialnz.org to connect if you're not involved in the engineering surveying stream. They would love to hear from you. They can help you. There are so many amazing engineering surveyors inside Survey and Spatial New Zealand, and it's an amazing community to be part of. Get involved with your local branch. Start networking and meeting other engineering surveyors and other certified professional engineering surveyors who can talk you through their experiences. We're aiming to have assessors inside every branch, so check and see if there are assessors in your local branch. Start to get to know people and let us know if you need help, especially if you don't know a Survey and Spatial member who can write you a reference. Please email us on certification@surveyspatialnz.org. So that's just some advice and a little bit of a guide on how to get ready and go through the application process to become a New Zealand Survey and Spatial New Zealand Certified Professional Engineering Surveyor. This is a really, really exciting new certification under our new national certification framework. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to your feedback. We look forward to seeing your applications, and I wish you all the best of luck, and look forward to meeting you.